I want to welcome you back to Online Course and Info Product Marketing Domination. Today we have another interview with Paul Ace. To give a little background, he's the founder of Amplify Ccalm. He has helped both 7- and 8-figure earners put Ccalm systems into their businesses. He's generated amazing results, such as creating $121,000 in 14 days for a nonprofit. He's also helped an online e-course creator generate $293,000 in 4 days. Paul, how are you doing today?
I'm great, thanks, Alex. How are you? Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, I'm doing awesome. I appreciate you coming on. So let's get straight into the interview. So what kind of got you into the online space, entrepreneurial space?
Yeah, so I used to work for a bakery. I worked as a store manager. That was not the most high paying thing, and also very stressful, long hours, getting up at 3:30 in the morning. And sometimes, doing like 12-hour days there. I quite happily do 15-hour days now, but that's a different story. And then transitioned from there. I actually ended up being a wedding singer, and then I went from being a wedding singer to selling bridesmaids dresses. And then really realized that the thing that I was good at was the marketing, and transitioned into that. And then over the last few years, then we've really started to work with some of the bigger names in the industry and get great results for those off the back of putting our Ccalm systems in place.
Awesome. That is cool. So how about, what are some of those trials that you had to overcome? I'm sure you've had many things you had to overcome. And
Yeah, I mean, a couple of years ago we nearly went bankrupt. So that was an interesting time. So we were selling bridesmaids dresses online, so doing the whole drop shipping model to start off with. So we basically had we built up a group of 3,500 brides to be, me and my wife, and we did the whole ask campaign. So we're like, what do you want? And then we were like, we'll give it to them. So they said they want bridesmaids dresses at a reasonable price. So we went on AliExpress. We did the whole drop shipping. It was going great. And then I hadn't calculated our return rate correctly. I calculated it based on that month's sales, not on the month when this sale occurred. So it meant instead of having a return rate of like 40%, having a return rate of like 10%, we had a return rate of like 40%. 30 to 40%. So once we realized that, we'd already started to scale up. So we went from like 2,000 a month to 5,000 to 11,000 to 16,000. And then it was like, oh crap, now what do we do? Because we couldn't switch off the ads either, because if we switched everything off, then obviously we're just going to get all these returns, and we had no money to fund that, really, because we weren't monitoring that kind of stuff as well as we should. So what was happening is basically every morning I'd wake up and I'd hear the sound of a van turn at the front door, and as I heard that sound of the van, the slider would open, and I'd know that was the sound of the postman, the mailman, every morning. And every morning he was bringing back a package, but he wasn't bringing a package for me that I bought something. He was bringing something back that someone else had bought. And every time, they have the scanners, and he would scan it, and every time that beeped, I knew that was like another £300, and I just hear it going beep, 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 and I was like, £300, £600, £900, and that would happen like every day, and I got mailmanophobia, which I call the fear of the mailman, and yeah, so we got to the stage where basically we had to carry on running ads for like 4 months or so. And over that time, we kind of leveled things off, but we had £24,000 come back in 2 months, which nearly bankrupted us. And when we were sole traders, well, so the house and everything was on the line. And then I was like, need to reassess because this is not working out. And it was like, what can we? Well, so what I did, I put a line down the middle of the page. And then I put a line across, and it was like, what are you good at? What are you not good at? And what do you enjoy? What don't you enjoy? And I plotted everything that I've ever done in business, every single kind of task, plotted that on the graph. And the thing that turned up at the top was all this Ccalm stuff. And I was like, well, I'm really good at the marketing, so let's do that. And then, so I started that a year last January. So I've been doing it about, a year and 3 months. But in that time, we've worked with people like John Lee Dumas, Pete Vargas, Screw the 9 to 5, Ray Higdon, a lot of the bigger names, because like we get results from them. So that's kind of where the process has gone from. So yeah, it hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows.
Cool. So for those of who that don't know what Ccalm means, what does Ccalm mean? Just so.
Yeah, so Ccom is all about conversational commerce. And that's about creating a 360-degree, like personalized customer experience that doesn't break at scale. So a lot of times we have some people who try and automate everything, right? So there's no personal touch there whatsoever. And then they complain that they're not getting the conversions that they want because they're trying to automate everything. And it's not human. Like, we're human beings. We've found with the current situation that you're restricted with how you can interact with people. So we want to keep that human connection there. And the other people try and do everything human. So they don't do any automation, and then they can't scale because it just breaks. So we create an 80% human-like experience and then a 20% human experience for each and every customer. So people can speak to thousands of people, have a one-on-one conversation at the same time.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that explanation. So at what point in your business did you feel like you found success, or have you reached that point yet? I guess for everyone it's different.
I think you're always growing, you're always having success, and you're always having learning challenges as well. There's failures is an interesting word, but to be fair, if you're not failing every day, then you're not going to have any success. So success, really, I watched a clip. I remember Matthew McConaughey, that all right guy. So he was doing this speech, and someone asked him, like, who do you want to be like? Who do you want to be? And he's like, I thought about it, and he was like, well, I want to be the man I'm going to be in 10 years time. And then it got to 10 years time, and this bloke said, so it's 10 years time. Are you that guy you want to be now? And he was like, not even close. He was like, I want to be the man I want to be in 10 years time. And he was like, because that's never going to stop. And he just keeps on going. And I follow that exact same philosophy. Like, am I more successful than where I was 10 years ago? Yes, I am. Am I, cleaning floors and cleaning ovens and stressed out and occasionally, even sitting on the floor, depressed and feeling stressed? No. But am I where I'm going to be in 10 years time? No. So success is always a moving goalpost.
That is an awesome perspective. I love it. All right, so let's get more into what you do today. So who do you serve exactly, and what do you do kind of on your day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so we help online course creators. Mainly we help online course creators or people, anyone who's got really a high ticket program, and we help them put in our systems in place which dramatically improve webinar show up rates, improve the amount of people showing up for a call. You can have the best party in the world, but if no one shows up, it's not really the best party in the world. You're just going to be sitting in the corner on your own, eating pumpkin pie or whatever, and listening to Lionel Richie. So we really help people with that whole customer experience process, and also improving the conversion rates at every level, and see where a client is bleeding money, and sometimes they're not even aware that they're bleeding money. If you imagine the situation, I was watching a film the other day, and basically they'd just been in this gunfight or whatever, one of those kind of action films, and they came out of it, and this guy's walking along, and he's talking away. It was Kevin Hart was in the film, and he's walking along, and he was like, oh, my foot's wet. And it was like, why's your foot wet? And he looked down, and he realized he'd actually been shot in the leg. But here's the thing, he didn't know he'd been shot in the leg until he looked down and actually seen it. So what we do find sometimes with clients is they don't know that the business has been shot. They don't know the business is bleeding money until we actually have that conversation, and then realize that there's so many opportunities in the business, whether it be short rates. I've just had a client this week where we've had before they were on like a 15% short rate on the webinar, and we just took it to 30%. So he's now getting double the amount of people to his webinar for the same amount of cost, which, you know, you probably call that a bullet in the leg. So
Oh,
that's
that's
kind of
awesome.
what we do on a daily basis.
Awesome. So what tips do you have for other info product sellers and online course creators? I know you're really involved in that. So what are some of your tips?
Yeah, the big thing, you know, Alex, is focusing on the people as people. You know, focus on every single person as a human being heart. You know, a lot of time we look at the metrics. Metrics are great, but what we got to remember is there's a person behind every single metric. And if we don't think like that and actually start creating this personalized human connection, we're going to get left behind. And even more so now in the digital world, you know, we're going to find a massive change in this next 12 months due to, you know, the current situation with COVID. And I'm sure like there's enough people talking about that. We don't need to talk about that in detail. But what I will say is, you know, you look at Zoom stocks right now, they've absolutely gone through the roof because so many people are now using things like Zoom and other platforms and Skype. And the world is becoming digital by necessity. But what happens when the world becomes even more digital is we lose more human connection. So keeping that human connection at scale in the digital world is what is going to set you apart from every other marketer out there.
That's awesome. Those are some good tips. All right, our last question. So what are your plans for the future and how can people find you?
Yeah, so plans for the future is really just keep growing our business and helping other potentially acquiring other businesses in the future as well, and just helping as many people that we can make an impact with on the world, create a better customer experience, you know, for each and every client, and also like obviously make some money as well in the process, which is always nice. And where people can find out more about me, if you go to amplifyccalm.com, you can see some of the stuff that we've been doing there. Or I think if you go to ccalmbook.com, you can get a first chapter of our book for free. Depending when you're listening to this, you may be able to get on the wait list if not. But that's ccalmbook.com as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All of his links will be in the description. You go check them out. Paul, I want to thank you so much for coming on and thank you for taking your time.
Thanks very much, Alex. Great to be on the show.
Yep, you have a good one. Bye.